Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Duane Parnham. I am the founder, executive chairman of Critical One Energy, and I come to you today with about 38 years experience in starting these junior mining companies. I come to you with a successful history of making our shareholders over billions of dollars. I see some familiar faces in the crowd, and I see many new ones. So, if you may, let me explain to you how you're going to make money on Critical One Energy. These are the forward-looking legal statements for the lawyers in the crowd. Antimony is a new mineral that most have not heard of, but it's a mineral that everybody now needs. And what makes this very exciting mineral is that the Americans have zero production in North America. They import 100% of their metal, mostly from China, from Russia. And now these exports into America have been canceled and cut off. And you find the military in America in great need of this metal. So it's become very, very exciting. Why it's exciting for Critical One is because we have a very extensive land package with a historical antimony discovery on it made in 1978 with no work done until now. We just started a $9 million Canadian drill program to upgrade and verify this antimony resource. Antimony, as far as the metal pricing, has already now entered a critical level. I classify antimony as the most critical mineral of the critical minerals. And we're all hearing about critical minerals, we're all hearing about rare earth minerals, but honestly, we know very little about it. Over the last year or so, the price of antimony in particular has skyrocketed because of the fundamental situation that I just explained with America. And now their need is growing at an astronomical rate at a time when availability of antimony has decreased. So you got high demand, limited availability. So we've moved in price, and I believe that we're going to enter another level of price explosion because now with the war efforts and with the military build-out globally to meet NATO 5% GDP demands, this metal has become more and more popular, more and more in need. So I think we're going to hit another price explosion. We've just started a drill program. We've announced only the first hole of a 6-hole program that we just finished, we call Phase 1. And we're already finding significant stibnite, which is the actual mineral name for antimony. If you look at the periodic table, and I know many of us haven't studied the periodic table, it's element number 51. But here we are, we're already finding this metal. Why is it important for us as a company? We have got all our permits. We've signed a relationship with the indigenous group, the Fort Hope First Nations, which is the group that control the land around our property. We've funded, there's a $10 million, $12 million in the treasury with another $10 million in warrants in the money. So we're well funded for the next year to carry on this drill program. And what we're going to do with this drill program is not only confirm the mineralogy, and I'll explain in the future slides, is we're also going to expand the size and grade of this deposit. Where we're located, it's in Canada, it's in the province of Ontario, and it's located somewhat in a remote area. However, infrastructure is growing and being developed in our area of the deposit. So the future is coming this way, and we're not so far off from the ports and areas where we can export this mineral to the marketplace. Many who are following Ontario exploration and development may be familiar with the Ring of Fire. Our friends at Juno are here today also This is a very exciting area of Ontario because it's receiving government funding for corridor road build and electrical power build. So this area has received already the attention of the government, and we're located about 100 kilometers as an airplane would fly from the Ring of Fire. We're calling this the Outer Ring because this economic development area will receive attention as the infrastructure is built around us. Our property is extensive. I would consider it a mining camp. It's about 30 kilometers in strike length, located within very favorable geological belt that hosts many other deposits for gold and for antimony. We've made gold discoveries at the north part of the property. 17 kilometers away is our antimony gold project in the middle of the property, and then we have another 10 kilometers or more to the west of completely untested ground. So there's an amazing blue sky potential for finding further deposits in this area. We have a historical resource, so we're not starting from fresh. We're not starting from scratch. We're starting from a very, very promising database from work that was done back in 1978 to 1984. And the data is providing us with the preliminary estimates of 1.7 million tons grading 1.4. SB is stibnite, which is the mineral for antimony. That equates to about 48 million pounds of antimony at today's price of let's just round it to $30 US. So 50 million pounds times $30 US gives you a rough in-the-ground economic valuation of the historical data. We're finding very classic Archean gold geochemistry here, geometrics, in the sense that this is a gold-rich environment of which we're finding high-grade antimony. It's rare. It's one of the rarest situations, and I can only offer how rare is when you look at the floor today. How many antimony projects are you seeing on the floor? One, us, because antimony in itself is very rare. It's very special. And to give you an idea, this is what we're looking for. This is antimony. This is refined antimony. It's rare because in this geological environment, not only are we finding a big gold envelope, but we're also finding extremely high-grade antimony on its own. So that gives a very interesting scenario, because this high-grade antimony at those numbers I just gave you could be a very economic scenario in itself, with gold just adding more value to it. So currently we know of two zones. We call the East Zone and we call the West Zone. In the East Zone, we're finding extremely high-grade antimony, and that's where our drilling is being done today, on the East Zone. We'll be moving the drill to the West Zone, where we're finding antimony and gold, but currently we're looking at the antimony zone in itself. This is a little bit of the historical work. 1970s to today is a little bit different, but nonetheless, the rocks are the same. The rocks were formed millions of years ago. We don't expect any change from today. We expect things to get better as we drill more holes. The database that's been assembled from all of this historical data gives us an area in a cross-section view that we can follow. So these are some of the historical drills, and then more of the new drills will be put in, not only to expand in an east-west but also at depth. And what's very interesting in this scenario here is these green linear plates are targets that were developed from our geophysics. We flew a very new technology of VTEM airborne geophysical survey, and we're finding these deeper conductors. And these conductors are very interesting because if you look at the historical drills, only 2 holes have penetrated this depth. All of the drills of the historical database are near surface, shallow drilling. So this really gives us an opportunity to look deeper and to find more mineralization. Where do we take it when we're done mining and then we got to find a spot to refine it? So this gives us an idea of where we would take our Howells Lake antimony. We can ship it to Thompson Falls where there's a current facility to refine the antimony, or we can ship it direct ship to Thunder Bay where we have rail ships and all to get it to market, or we can take it to Sudbury, again, where there's infrastructure to refine the product there. So although the project may be somewhat remote, it's not remote such that we can't get it to market. And we're already looking at our downstream opportunities for this product. So this is quite important when you want to look at the total supply chain opportunities that are available to us. Okay, so I mentioned how can I make you money with our project. So I've offered 2 companies that could provide a comp to this scenario that we have. And if you look at Critical One Energy today, we're trading at roughly 60 million Canadian market cap. With a $9 million drill program, we've only just started. So we're at the early stages of project development, let's call it. The first peer that I want to point out is a company called Antimony Resources. It's a Canadian company, and they're drilling an antimony-only deposit in New Brunswick, Canada, but there's no gold associated with this. They're drilling antimony veins, but because they've been drilling now for a year, their market cap has increased to 132 million. So you can see we already have probably a 2 times of our price valuation once our drill news is hitting the market. But I'm actually more excited about the Perpetua resources because Perpetua is a historical deposit. It's got extremely low-grade gold, 0.4 grams per ton, but it has a small antimony section of 0.6% antimony. If you saw our historical grade at 1.4%, that's roughly double the grade. And they have a market cap of over $5 billion. So I think in time, as we develop our company and our project, I think our window of opportunity will take us into the billions of dollars. Who are the people behind us? Myself, that good-looking gentleman there on the top left. Our PhDs, Matt Trankler is the young geologist that's doing all of the drilling and all of the geological work on site. Chet Izichet is a director who found the Howells Lake deposit. Chet has a very, very exciting career. He's made many multi-billion-dollar discoveries, and he's very passionate about this work that he did in his early 70s to today. And he's provided us with all of the historical data. It is also guiding our drill program right now. And then Bruce Sturm is particularly exciting to have because he's one of the founding geologists at Hemlo Gold, which is Canada's one of Canada's largest gold mines, and it has a very similar geological footprint to what we're doing at Howells Lake. So we have very, very high-profile advisors and board members assisting us as we develop this project. If you look at our share structure, we're 62 million shares, roughly, give or take, shares issued and outstanding. We have a high percentage of insider and founder ownership. I'm the largest single shareholder. I've purchased all my shares in the open market. You can see that in the insider trading reports. So we're not sitting here with free shares hoping you guys pay more and give us money. No, no, no. We're all aligned together. We're all aligned to make this project a success, so that any decisions we make as a manager is a decision made for the benefit of the shareholders. And I've done this throughout my career, and I firmly believe that is an important element and separates our share structure from many of the other companies that you look at. So I think that's important. And we're fully funded. So we have the money in the bank. I don't need to go out and raise capital. I don't need to go out and dilute the shares tomorrow. So we're all in this together to see a share appreciation. And I'm very excited about that. And I think in closing, you know, we've selected the right metal at the right time with the right team. And I think that's where you're going to get value in this company. And that's where I think we're going to see the work and the efforts that we're making together as the shareholders and as the management and technical team will deliver a path to a big success. So that's pretty much my story. And I'm happy to be here. We have a booth. You can come and touch and feel the antimony and touch and feel me if you like, but because I'm a little bit lucky, but that's okay. So it's been a pleasure, and everyone have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Duane. Thanks for being with us.